You're listening to For Better and Worse with Jess and Rach.
I'm very nervous.
Really nervous.
Holy shit.
First day back.
It's season 2, y'all. We missed you so much.
did.
I just want to make it known that Rach and I are seeing each other for the very first time since we recorded last.
So like 6 weeks.
Which is a very long time.
Very long time for us. We've been basically world travelers.
We've been
not to brag.
World travelers. I have to warm this baby up.
Get that mouth moving, Jess.
Oh my gosh. The mouth has done a lot of moving over the break. I'm kidding. But no, we've been world travelers. We've been to many estates.
You've been to Utah. I've been to Texas, Maine, and Arizona.
Yep.
So
And we're back.
We're back.
Good old Ohio.
We're back. I finally, as of yesterday, uploaded all of season 1 to YouTube.
Proud of you, Rach. Proud of you. I knew that was a big deal.
It was a big deal. It felt like it felt like something that I needed to
that
do
needed
for
to be
me.
done for her to enter into season 2.
I did. I needed to close the chapter of season 1. And let me tell you, when I was editing them, we're funny. We've got some moments.
Good to know. Good to know
yeah.
because as many of you know, I do not listen to the episodes, which is going to change here shortly.
Yeah, we're divvying up responsibilities, so Jess is going to have to get used to hearing herself talk.
Can't fucking wait.
Jess, I need you fill me in. Let me know, what have I missed?
Okay, we've taken 6 weeks off, and it's been hard. Rach and I talk few and far between. We catch each other up on the important stuff, you know.
Mhm.
But obviously the little details go by. Yeah. And I took notes during my time off.
I'm so proud. I took mental notes,
which never stick.
No, they won't. But one of my mental notes that I thought the pod needed to hear was when we were in Maine. So I was flown out there for an engagement session, but my dad came with my sister Laura, and we discovered when we were driving, my dad never uses GPS. So we made him use Siri, Apple Maps, Apple CarPlay in the rental car. Or not.
Does he not use GPS because he doesn't need it, or he's one of those?
Yeah, he's one of those. He's like, oh, go south.
Direction people. I couldn't.
He sees the way the wind blows and says, we're going that way.
So he's Moana.
Yes.
Okay.
Larana. But Larry
took me a while to get there.
No, not funny. Officially not funny. But when we were driving, she said, she was like, turn left, and he goes, thank you, Gladys.
He named her. She does have a Gladys name.
Yeah, her name is Gladys, and
Cute.
So I think that is one of the funniest things my dad has come up with in his time.
Gladys.
Thank you, Gladys.
Larry's funny.
Larry is funny. He's a sneaky funny.
He is. I feel like it's dry humor, but only the few get it, you know?
And I get it. So luckily I'm the one that gets to enjoy it most of the time.
Good.
Okay. You catch me up. You have a whole
I don't. I guess something that surprised me when I thought about taking time off. I struggle to watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched a fuck ton of TV.
Did you?
Because I am editing every day. So when I edit, I just share my screen with a little corner of it with something. And that makes you watch so many series.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because it's if you spend 8 hours editing, it's eight episodes of TV.
Which is insane because I cannot sit down. I'm lucky that I'm editing while I'm watching because I could not sit down. I just watch TV. But kind of in current events, I guess, new season of You came out.
Never seen it, but let me tell you, it's all over my TikTok and it makes me want to watch it. When it first came out, I was like, man that stalks women, not for me.
Right.
Potentially triggering, potentially just something I don't want to see. And I definitely don't want it to be sympathized. I don't want to humanize a stalker.
No, we don't want to think it's hot.
Yeah.
But somehow we do. So you saw...
problematic in that.
It was lightweight. And that was that was issues in season 1, and now we're in season 3, and people are even more obsessed. But relating to TikTok, he is narrating people's videos, and it's hilarious. Like, it's just this one girl, no sound whatsoever. She's going through a library, opening up a book, and his name's Penn Bagley, is the actor, and he's like, okay, you wanted me to narrate your video. So he turns on his Joe Goldberg, which is the character he plays in the show. He turns on that voice. He's like, I'm watching you. And he does like the whole narration, but people fucking love that. And I showed that to Joe, this TikTok. I'm like, look at what he's doing. This is really funny. And Joe's watching that, and he's like, okay, I'm like low-key questioning my sexuality right now. He's like, dude's fucking hot. Like, for real, he's fucking hot. And I'm like, I never knew you thought that. I'm like, he's got like uglier John Mayer vibes, real kind of lanky. Doesn't he though? Like, he's cute. I get it. He's like Gossip Girl, but he's small kind of. And Joe's like, no, for real. Like, Jess, if he came through the door right now and asked to fuck you, like, I would just ask him if he wouldn't mind narrating it for me. I was fucking dead. I was like, oh my gosh, you would watch. He's like, oh yeah, he would just need to narrate it while he does it. But 100% he could do that.
And as someone who hasn't seen the show, it makes me uncomfortable. I feel like I need to gain understanding.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, not much to understand though. You pretty much nailed it. He's like a serial killer.
Okay.
Kind of. He gets really obsessed with women. This one woman. And like, it just changes throughout every episode. And he just like moves on to the next, becomes obsessed with them, kills for them, all this stuff. But it's all in the name of love. It's twisted, but
it's mental illness.
That's mental. Well, 100% is mental illness.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that he is stable.
Well, no, murder is a typical.
But that's also shows that I'm seeing too, like In the Dark, like everything it's just too much.
Yeah.
Did you watch that show?
No. I don't.
I'm a big showgirl at this point. I'm sorry. That's what I have to report.
Showgirl at her best.
But I'm not though.
No,
but I just watched shits on TV.
The last show that I watched, because like ever since I started working at the studio, like I'm really not watching TV while I edit, and also like editing video, I can't.
Yeah.
But a show that I watched, the last show I watched was like season 6 or 7 of Love Island UK.
So that's trash TV.
Yes,
there's a difference.
I can get real invested in trash TV if it's like if I'm in the right headspace for it.
God, I'm never in the right headspace for it. And I'm sorry if we have Bachelorette fans out there. It won't be us. It won't be us, the podcast. That
we won't really talk about it unless we could. If we ever start losing ideas, we could watch a whole season of The Bachelor. But
I would prefer,
because I will say, as someone who's watched a season here and there, you get invested in a way that you don't want to be, but you get in there and you're like, you know what? I don't think Janelle is right for Tony. I think she's here for the wrong reasons, and you will get strong opinions. And that's all I'm gonna say. But I haven't. So I watched Hannah Brown's season, which is like notoriously known as like one of the best seasons of The Bachelorette ever. And then I watched the Paradise Bachelor, the Paradise whatever after it. But I tried to watch Peter's season. Not good. Didn't make it through. I can't sit through the cringe.
It's the secondhand embarrassment for me.
And I get that.
And that's really what it is.
But I think it's worse. It's worse on The Bachelor because it's a bunch of like, and this might be internalized sexism. And I'm gonna say it here and now. Could be that, but it's just a bunch of like girls crying, and I can't deal with that.
Annoying.
It is. It's a lot.
And obviously, we know a lot of it's fake,
right?
With them being like, stir the pot here, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's obvious.
I know. Well, never say never.
Well, I guess I'm speaking for myself on that because I don't know if I can get through it.
Yes.
But I guess if ratings get low, I'll do whatever it takes. Okay. Let me sip this Mickey Slim.
Oh my God, your Mick life.
Mickey Slims are very good.
Yeah.
They're superior beer.
We haven't said we have a new setup up here, up in the loft of my studio.
Yes.
Permanent setup or semi-permanent setup. So hopefully the YouTubers appreciate the good vibes. We like the good vibes.
We do.
Good vibes only.
Speaking of good vibes only.
What?
During the time off, it was actually the week after we stopped season 1.
Okay.
I had this wedding. Super cute couple, Steph and Brett. I don't know if they were listeners. I don't know if they listen anymore because they listen to a lot for wedding tips.
Yeah.
And vows.
Ooh.
Vows 101 was like, helped her write her vows.
Really?
And so I saw that there were like these vows or like notes like written down. And I was like, just going to photograph them because I'm queuing it to details, you know, just shooting the getting ready. And she was like, oh, those are my notes from your podcast. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, I listened to vows.
Take a picture of them?
Yes. She's like, she's like, I listened to Vows 101 and I just like took notes. And she's like, I think Brett listened to it too. And I was like, oh my gosh, that means so much. She's like, yeah, it was really helpful. Like I had no direction where I wanted to go. And then that really like, I listened to your episode and wrote them like immediately after. So she's like, thank you for that. And I was like, that is the sweetest thing I've ever fucking heard. And then I meet Brett, which I've met him before, but I am seeing him on his wedding day. And he's like, hey, by the way, like your podcast like helped me write my vows. I was like, what?
Wow.
What? He's like, yeah, Steph was in the hospital. Weird story. But I had to sit in the car. And so she was listening to it. So it like plugged in on her phone and it just popped up. And he's like, oh, fuck it. I'll give it a listen. And he was like, I just have to say, like, that was so helpful. And you guys are good. Like, you have something good. You guys are funny. Like this guy, you know? And I was like, I love the male perspective on this because I never, you know, we don't have a lot of male listeners, I'm sure. Yeah. But it was just really cool to hear and very touching.
I know. That's like, it's Cassie and Stanley. When Stanley and they read their vows, like during their first look instead of at the ceremony. And he said for better and worse.
They said for better and worse too.
Don't
and I was like,
started.
Can't handle that. And then they did, which is the first time I photographed a last dance, which is at the end of the night, they clear out the room. Stephanie and Brett are very private, introverted. Well, Stephanie's pretty introverted people, and they set up their day perfectly. I don't know if that was because, you know, we were like, do what you want, do what's best for you, do what suits your personality, you and your partner. And they did. So they did a first look. We actually went to the cultural gardens for them to do a private ceremony with their bridal party.
That was that one. Madison shot that with you,
yes.
right? Oh, yeah. She told me she loved it.
Yeah, it was dope. And it was like so perfect because like they weren't afraid to say their vows in front of a lot of people, you know, like we kind of ran through the ceremony again for like their family, but it was like a quick run through, and obviously all the tears were out with the real one at the cultural gardens in a private area, which was dope.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to the last dance. I've never photographed that before, and it was really, really cool moment.
Yeah.
For the couple and for them to like trust me with, you know, that.
Yeah.
Allowing me in their space to photograph it. And at the end, it was just emotional. It's the end of the night. And they just came out to me like, thank you so much. Like we wouldn't, you know, they just really kind words about, you know, me photographed their wedding and being there for them. And the engagement photos and how much they liked him. And Brett started crying. Brett was like sobbing. And he was like, Jess,
we're throwing you under the bus.
Brett, we love you. And I have the pictures to prove I have goosebumps. But he was like, Jess, like you photograph her in a way that I see her, that no one else sees her. He's like, I just can't take it. You know, you make her feel so at ease and so comfortable. I was sobbing.
That's probably the best words people have ever shared with you.
It really was.
That's like the best compliment you could ever be given.
It truly was. I was like, my work is so purposeful and I feel fulfilled in my job right now. Because sometimes that's really hard, especially if you're in busy season. And it was just a really fucking cool moment. And I really couldn't wait to share it with this audience and you and be like, holy shit.
It's funny. Like, truly, Jess, I feel like your work, like I've watched you grow from 3 years ago, you know, to now. And like your work has drastically changed, I think, with perspective. I say that like taking a good picture isn't hard, but like having a purposeful perspective, that's what's different. I always feel like that's what's different between newer photographers and people that have been doing this for a while and that truly give a shit is like, I see I see how you see things. And it's beyond editing, it's beyond posing, it's intentionality. And I feel like this year for sure, you've been able to form intentionality with like every couple, which is the hard part. Like I feel like throughout like your time, like you can form intentionality with certain couples or certain people and you feel this freedom.
For sure.
But like what's really hard as a business owner and someone that does it, you know, 20 to 30 times a year.
Yeah.
Is being able to do it with every couple, and you've been doing it. You've been knocking it out of the park lately.
Thank you, Rach.
Your work is truly some of my favorites, and I'm proud. I'm proud to know you. Proud to be around you. Shut the fuck up. Stop.
Okay. I'm sobbing. No, it just means a lot because you're my fucking mentor. Like you put me on the map. You fueled all of it, and so to hear from like the person you look up to and the person who taught you to say like. Your work is some of my favorite.
Yeah.
Cheers to that with my Bicky Slim. That seriously means so much. Thanks, Rach.
Good. Changing subject. Okay, what can I talk about? Okay, this was some ASMR.
Still not on it.
Still not on it. Still not on ASMR TikTok. Okay, so we've been traveling a lot lately. Like, I've been traveling. But we just got back from Arizona, shot my cousin's wedding out there, which was wild. And honestly, do a whole fucking episode on that wedding.
On the logistics of the day.
Oh my God. Like truly, like all I'll say on it is Sam and Jono, like truly just shows they are the type of people that people will travel an hour into the literal wilderness. Like the true wilderness, like 8 miles on a dirt road.
Dude, it reminds me of Chloe and Tyler. Two people we have no idea who they are, but that video from A Little Long Distance.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me think because that was very remote in Moab. So when it's kind of how I pictured Sam and Jono's wedding.
It was so cool, but the logistics were definitely hard and another story for another time. But I just like I felt very like lucky in that like I feel like traveling with a partner is something that like you either hate or love. And don't get me wrong, airport Josh is a Josh I don't claim. Josh in an airplane is a Josh that, you know, like.
Well, this is new to him. He has never been on an airplane until he met you. And his first airplane trip was with you last year or 2 years ago.
His only airplane trips have been with me or for me.
So he's new to it. Throw him a bone.
But
I'm always on Team Josh.
I know.
Whenever you
go to bat.
I do.
But I'm the same way for Joe.
I know.
And our boyfriends are literal same. Our partners are the same people. So but something about Josh, be down with the sixness, if you know, you know, is like when we go to these places, like we went to Northern California like a year ago for Sam and Jono's actually their engagement photos. And then we like had a sleeper van type thing, like a van that had been converted.
Which is pretty extreme traveling for a couple.
Yeah.
There's difference than hotel. This is traveling. This isn't vacation.
Yeah. Like which we loved and I actually wanted to do in Arizona, but I ended up being too tired to camp. I was like, I'm not doing that. So also, like literally a week and a half before I was like, change of plan. But
you also traveled like 2 weeks before that, home for a few days, travel again.
And I wasn't in for like remote camping truly in the end. So I stayed at my uncle's cabin up in Flagstaff. So not to brag. But Josh in the wilderness is a sight to behold. And he wants so bad to be like a wilderness guy. He wants to camp. He wants to love it. Like when last year when we were up in the redwoods, I had us on like a 6-mile hike. It was like a loop trail through the redwoods. I'd pack sandwiches, like water, like we're going. We were prepared.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he might have ingested some recreational marijuana up there. And we're hiking and he's darting forward. And I'm like, babe, like relax.
He's motivated.
Like this is supposed to be fun. He goes, I just want to get through it. Like I'm just worried. We're not prepared. And I was
very much stressed.
And I'm like,
very much anxious.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Like he's like 10 paces up in front of me. And I'm like, I'm not here to have a hike on my own.
Very much focused.
Oh, he's laser focused. He goes, I just want to get to the end. And I'm like, we got about 5 more miles to go. So I'm not going to sprint it. I'm trying to enjoy it. And he's like, I'm worried. Like we don't have any bear spray. And I was like, it's the middle of the day. There are people around. What
just
do you
so
mean?
Easy. There's a trail here.
Yep. And so in the end, I was like, you know what, babe? Like, let's just turn around because like the longer we go and you're like this, the more annoyed I'm gonna get.
Like if you're stressed out,
yeah.
Like if you're tweaking, we gotta go. We gotta go.
And so we are in Sedona, Arizona now. We are taking photos like we did. My sister was taking our photos.
I know. I want to see those.
Laura was getting her artiste on.
Love to see it, Laura.
Laura can do it all, truly.
She can. It's kind of frustrating.
It's so funny. But so we're just on a trail. Let's keep in mind, like, Sedona is a very weird because like there's like these public trails, but like also people's houses are all around. So, like, we're not remote by any means.
Right.
But, like, it's getting to the end, like, you know, sunset. And Josh was like, all right, we got to get going back. Like, I'm talking, we are 5 minutes from the trailhead. And he's like, we got to get going back. And he hears, like, what he says are coyotes. What Laura and I say are people pretending to be coyotes.
Oh, my God.
We can't prove it either way. But I'm like, babe, those are people. He's like, no, we got to get going back. Like, dude, that would be out here in the dark.
Which is crazy because this recreational drug would do the opposite for him.
Oh, he was not on recreational substances in Sedona. No, this is stone cold sober Josh.
Oh.
Stone cold sober. Yeah. This is
him.
Oh,
I thought we had smoked before.
No.
Oh, and so I was like, I thought he'd be chilled out. But that's like me if I smoked weed. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't smoke weed because I don't enjoy it. Yeah, I wish I did. I really do because I feel like I enjoy drinking, but like it just I'm gonna have to take a nap. It tires me out, and it does the same thing to my mom. Like the reason why she doesn't drink that much is because it's like this will literally put me under. But it's just like Josh, I love him to death. But man, do I wish we could go on a hike without him having an episode.
It's not his element. It's very much he wants it to be. The aesthetic is there. Yes. You love it.
He loves the vibe.
Yes. And who doesn't, right? Who doesn't want to be a part of that scene? But if it's not in the cards for him, I'm actually shocked. I thought he'd be like a little kid, like running up the trails and...
Oh, God, no. And I gotta say,
like free bird out there.
I gotta say, this bitch is a liar. Okay, how many times have I like dogged people for like wearing high heels at their session or wearing shoes they can't walk in? And I'm like, you got to be able to move, and I still stand by that. Okay, you got to be able to move. As a photographer, I can't like tell you to walk this place or go here if you can't physically move.
I tell you, movement-based photography. I tell you that.
But guess whose ass was in 3-inch heels at like, I mean, they were boots.
You hiked them with them or did you change into them?
I changed into them. But I'm walking, like there's still points where it's like I need to like walk and move. And I'm like,
you're that bitch.
So awkward. Oh yeah, I am that bitch. And I'm like, I'm a liar. Don't listen to me. Because I wanted the vibes. I have these white like go-go boots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, love them.
Yeah.
Love and I brought that Free People dress.
I know. I want to see how you looked.
I looked hot as hell.
Where are the photos?
I'll show you.
I was waiting for them to be posted because I saw Josh posted a few.
I'm in a bit of post paralysis right now.
Yeah.
It's just like there are too many weddings and too many sessions that I love. And I honestly feel like I'm creating some of my best work right now. I'm just in a post paralysis.
I gave up that. I was like,
if I don't post it like the next day, it's gone.
I know.
It's gone.
It's hard.
It's gone.
Okay.
So we have some like loose meat, some like mince meat this episode, right?
Minced meat, loose meat, loose. we have tightened up, and we will tighten up in season 2. We do want to say that.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of episodes. Like, the break was good.
The break was good, although we were hella busy. Like, the break was needed. Like, I don't even know if we could
couldn't have physically done it.
I don't know if we could record.
No.
Or like
they would have just been phone call conversation.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much. So, no, but I feel like during our time off, we have come up with some hot takes, some unpopular opinions, some things that we've seen at weddings, some things that we thought of.
Or just like hot takes in general. Like, some of mine are related, but I'm like, I gotta talk about this.
They need to be heard.
Yes.
And what better platform to use than our own podcast?
That's why we created it.
Truly, for the unsolicited advice, although solicited.
Although
people be asking.
We have to say semi-solicited now. We can't be talking unsolicited because
it's semi.
Y'all be asking us.
Y'all be asking us about relationships, and we need to dive into that. People keep asking about relationship type questions, and I'm like, I'll take a stab at it.
Yes.
Also, did you dress up for Halloween? Unrelated?
No. Your husband told me that there would be a Halloween party, but then I got no further info.
There was no Halloween party.
I figured.
It was a casual hang where half of us dressed up and half of us did not. And I was highly disappointed. Hot take is that never let Joe be the deliverer of info to the friend group.
No, because was it even Friday night?
No.
Yeah, that's when I was told it would be. But then I was like, I was also like, I gotten in Thursday night.
Right.
So I was like, the likelihood.
And also it was on Saturday, which you had a wedding.
Yeah.
But no, Joe was like, I'm like, everyone's just excited for it to have it be low key. Everyone's excited for it to have it be low key. And I was like, either we're doing low key and we are staying in our pajamas and I'm doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, or we're hanging out, or like we're dressing up, I'm decorating, and we're drinking endlessly. There's no in between, especially for Halloween for me.
It's full send or go home.
100% full send or bust. And he was like, no, everyone's still like excited. I'm like, well, that sounds lame. And he golfed all day. And I was like, golf. We'll get on golf. Hot take. Golf. I'd rather him do that than other things. But
yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know the point of this story, but he was like, people are dressing up. Everyone's still excited. Nobody fucking dressed up. Everyone showed up.
What were you?
We were Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love. Last minute ordeal.
Cute though.
Cute, but like, no, I wasn't even excited to take photos with it. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't
the vibe.
It's all right.
I'm disappointed because I love Halloween, and then like Joe was golfing all day, so I cleaned endlessly, of course, scrubbing on my hands and fucking knees.
Jess is cleaning. I'm not her therapist, and that's all I gotta say about it.
It's gotten out of hand. It's got out of hand. So we'll take it up with Yesenia and we'll go from there.
I'm gonna start calling Yesenia because I can't trust you to make an appointment. That's for
couldn't
sure.
Trust me. But now I feel like I'm slowing down. So I feel like the mental health issues are really rising because they've just been pushed down with work and editing and deadlines and shooting. And now it's like I'm only editing at this point and consults and stuff. So I've got the time. Things are bubbling over. And one of them being obsessive cleaning.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just wanted to touch about Halloween. Bust of a year. 2021. Bust of a year.
Do you want to know something that's going to surprise you? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm at this wedding on Saturday. And it was a great wedding. Do I wish it was my last wedding of the year? Yes. I felt like it was just that right balance, hit the sweet spot of just like
going out with a nice
predictability after like one of the hardest weddings I ever shot the week before. It would have been nice, but alas, got 2 more. 2 more.
Power through. Isn't it the worst when everyone's like, last one of the year? And you're like the photographers start dropping like flies, like last one. And then you're just like fucking holding on.
And next year, we already have 2 December weddings. So I'm very excited for them. I will say that. I love both of those couples very much, but it's all right. As of right now, I have like a month break in June and July. Like,
May. I just booked one May wedding, but my May is fucking wide open. Come and get it. Come and get it.
But then I'm just like, Rach, it's all right.
But I'm hitting the cap here in about a few more.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, hitting the cap.
I'm pushing it. I'm pushing myself. It's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a good year.
I feel like I was gonna say something, and I forget what I was
Halloween. We talked about.
Oh yes. Okay. So after my wedding, Josh texts me, and his best friend Ian owns, like, his family owns a Kent Stage, which is like this small, like, music and like event kind of venue, theater venue in like downtown Kent. And he's like, "Hey, Rocky Horror Picture Shows tonight." And I was like, as a member of the LGBT, I have to see Rocky. I have to see it before I die. I know that I need to see it. And I know that it's like a huge, like, camp part of the culture that I would so appreciate as an ex-theater nerd. And like, I have to see it. And I was like, okay, we're going to do it. And so I leave the wedding. It's like 9:30 and Rocky doesn't start till 11. So I'm like, Josh, I'm going to come to you now. And he's like, okay, well, we have to go home for a bit. And I said, that's going to be a no, Blaine. Because
I was just going to say,
as soon as I go home.
You amaze me that you even would plan something after a wedding.
Oh my God.
Could never be me.
But I am like, I get home, get on the couch, the headache sets in. And it's just like, I'm just like, I want to go so bad. I want to go. I have to go. What do I wear? I don't know what to wear. And
it has to be an ordeal.
And I like change my clothes twice.
You have to be in the right headspace for it.
And then I start falling asleep on the couch. And then Josh called it. He said, we're not going. And I said, fair enough.
You're done.
You're done.
You're done.
You're done.
That's what I would have said to you, because
I wanted to go so bad. And Josh was like, Rachel, I think they do it like every month. And I was like,
they do.
The Halloween Rocky Horror Picture Show is different.
Is it?
Yes.
Also, we have like the best theater by us that does Rocky Horror, and we have yet to go. And Joe lives for it. Like, he fucking wants to go so bad. So
me and Joe will go.
I would go.
Joe and I haven't been on a date in a while.
Yeah, well, ever since the comedy show. Things have been weird around our house. I'm kidding.
Ever since 2 years ago at the comedy show.
That was the fucking worst wedding ever for me that day.
All right. Throwing shade.
Throwing shade. No one knows whose that was. It was this dad. This is crazy. But guess what? Guess what? I am, without giving away who this is or like throwing shade on family members, this girl came out as a lesbian.
A Madison Sharp original.
A Madison Sharp original. Yeah, so that's all I know. Okay. That's all I'll say is the wedding that I shot.
Yeah, and she married a man.
Yeah, so they're no longer together, and now with a woman. Well, good. I love that she's living her truth. That's all.
Your truth.
That's all I'm here for.
That wedding, and I do remember you being like, "What the fuck?"
That's first, second year shit you don't deal with anymore. Yeah. I mean, shit does arise, right? Shit does arise, but
yeah, shit arises.
Okay, Squid Games. Sorry,
never seen.
Fuck me, big TV girl, big TV girl. Do you ever miss a show? Do you ever like miss a show that you're really into, or like it has to be a show because you're. I don't know. You and Josh don't sit down for TV much.
So
Joe's big TV person, big movie guy, know everything about everything that he watches. I'm talking trivia on trivia.
Yeah. So when I'm watching a movie or a TV show,
are you invested?
On the IMDb.
Okay.
I'm on though. Who's this guy? What they say invested. They've been in? Where were they born? Who's their ex-wife? How many kids do they have?
But Joe like looks forward to classic 9 to 5 guy. This sounds like something a 9 to 5 guy would look forward to. It's like TV at night, something to look forward to, like a new episode. So if we're watching a new series, we're watching new episodes every night, maybe 2 episodes if we have time, but like we only watch them together. And he's like, oh, I look forward to that like we were in Handmaids when we were in Squid Games, and Joe's like, man, I miss Squid Games. Like I miss that feeling of having something to look forward to. And
I know what that means. Yeah. Like, I mean, before Ted Lasso season 2 came out. I was like, this is just a purely good show. Although, have you seen Ted Lasso season 2?
No, so I am watching season 1. So I would chime in and out when Joe was watching Ted Lasso, so I know it very well. But I'm rewatching because I've never fully immersed myself in it, and now I am.
Okay, we can talk about it later. We'll talk about it next
episode. I heard it's like one of the best feel-good shows of all time. And you did a small bit on it in season 1.
Yeah, it is probably one of the best written shows I've ever watched. Something I'm watching right now. Well, I just started season 3, I believe, but Making It, which is with Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman.
But I do need to touch on something if we are going off on shows.
Do what we want. It's our show.
Made. MAID. Made. The show on Netflix.
I haven't seen that either. I haven't seen. I can tell you all the shows I'm watching, and it's wonderful.
You need it.
I feel like I would really.
Best show probably top 5 for me, and that's Girls is number 1. So,
Girls.
I'm still stuck on Girls, but no, Made is beautiful, beautiful story. I mean, it is just fucking climbing the charts, but also like a lot of people are talking about it being one of the most important issues.
Yeah.
And bringing forward domestic abuse and what that looks like, and having it not just be people physically abusing each other. So, I mean, it's
like
just
toxic relationships in general.
Really, really, really good. So if you haven't watched and you want to sob and you want to be moved,
I never want to be either of those things.
This girl does at all times. Could it be you? Could it be you feeling feelings?
Absolutely not.
No, we'll push those down.
Push those down.
Okay, getting into the loose minced meat.
The minced meat.
I'm just
the hamburger helper, if you will.
The hors d'oeuvres. Okay. Go ahead, because I know you've got a few. I only have one that I think I bring up in conversation a lot recently, but go for it.
Here's one. Okay, hot takes. And these are just hot takes, wedding, photo, life related. Okay. Here's something that I think are just awkward and never done, rarely done well. You know what? These are hot takes. We get to say hot takes, and you can disagree with us, and who cares? Do not go for the dip kiss.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Especially do not do it at the fucking altar. Don't make it your first kiss. For the love of God. Because the guy's going to dip her back. And I'm going to get a shoe in focus.
Yes.
And then it's done. And even when it's like they try to do it during a session or during bridals, and I'm just like, where do I need to be to make this happen? How do it's like,
hey, photographers, let us know.
It's like the girl's ab workout, her P90X is really showing through, and the guy is like, eh. And then it's like, if there's a kiss, it's like and I'm just like,
it's so funny you say this. And so she Marco Polo'd me this.
I said,
so
this
I
is
was
my idea
prefaced. But I thought I was the only one.
Truly,
am I doing this wrong? When people would dip, I'm like, fuck, they probably think this photo is epic, and I failed them.
Oh, and they always,
because I didn't know where I was supposed to be to make this epic.
And especially when it's done during the first dance. Lock eyes with your photographer. If you're going to do this, lock eyes.
There's a lot of preparation we need to be done.
It needs to be face forward, because a lot of times they just do it. I'm on the ass side.
Jenna and Garrett, you know I missed that shit. You already fucking know, okay?
I'm saying it, calling it.
Because it's the first person I think of, because I know they did it in their entrance into their reception, and I fucking missed it, okay? And you got the before, you got like mouse hovering over, which is kind of hot, and then the after, and I apologize for that, but link up with me before, okay?
Not to give a warning, but I just think dip kisses,
if you're not a gymnast, don't fucking do it. Hey, if it's fun for you and you don't give a fuck about the epic shot, then do you, because that's fun and that feels romantic.
If you want the head rush.
If you want the immediate head rush, do it because that's hot. And if that's fun for you guys and you practiced it, cool.
Proud of you.
But if you're talking about an epic shot, I'm telling you what, me as your photographer misses it. I'm gonna miss it.
I'm done with dip kissing. Dip motions.
I love that I could call out 2 known listeners.
2 known listeners.
I'll refund you.
But maybe they won't listen now that they're
I'll refund you. I know. That is funny.
Okay. I went. You go.
I went. Your turn.
Your turn.
Hate to say it, I'm gonna lose some street cred for this.
Okay. What is it?
I'm not a fan of Harry Styles.
Like the music or the man?
Both. And I mean I appreciate both, but I'm not hopping. I'm not on my knees sucking this dude's dick like everybody else is. Also, fair to say that I have my Harry Styles and his name goes my Justin Bieber. So nobody fills that void of like younger pop sensation other than for me, Justin Bieber. But I appreciate
the boy version of
he is. I know Harry Styles is artsy and progressive and original, and I do appreciate it. It's just not.
It's not hitting your G spot.
I'm not on the train, the Harry train. I know, and I respect people. I'm not dogging anyone who is because I get it. I do get it, but it ain't me. It ain't for me. Mm-hmm. Give me the fuckboy version. Oh my God. Who is that guy? Totally unrelated. Who is that guy on TikTok that acts as the frat boy? Fucking hilarious.
I'm not on that side of TikTok. That's straight TikTok. And I would not be on that side of TikTok.
It's not though. But I would send it to you and you think it's funny. But cut that out. Not for me. I know.
And I hear you. And I'm moving on.
Okay. Fair enough. Dog me. No, that's fine. I know it's one of the most unpopular opinions of the Gen Z generation. Because I know millennials are on there too.
I like Harry Styles. I like what he's doing with the place. I like his role in society. I like his music. I'm not like obsessed. I don't know like his birthday or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I love that he's acting. I love his roles that he's played thus far. I'm a fan. Call me a fan.
I'm Timothée Chalamet.
Have you seen Dune?
Have you seen Dune? No.
Don't talk to me until you.
We are a full experience couple, so we have to go to the theaters.
Yes, so. And I will say, if I'm like I do love reading. But I also like my hyperfixation is reading. So like I usually have to set boundaries around reading. But Dune is a book that I tried to start. One of my best friends, Morgan, her dad is like the nerdiest man alive. And Dune is his favorite book. And he gave me one of his copies like quite honestly 10 years ago probably. And I would try to read it, but it's just, it's a hard book to start. They just they drop you in the middle of this world. And I'm like, does Earth exist here? Is this are we in a Star Wars type situation?
Right.
Like, are we in a dystopian future? Where are we? And I never got far enough along. But then I watched the movie and I was able to read the book. Now I'm like, I'm reading it on my phone.
You are?
Yeah, instead of like Kindle or whatever, I just have it on my phone.
So cool. But after watching the movie.
Yeah, now that I know what everything's supposed to look like.
Cool.
So now that I have like a view, but very good. Some people are dogging it, saying it's just like a 2.5 hour trailer for part 2, like the second movie, or like I've seen some funny stuff on it, but I think it's really good. I think it's, and people are happy with its adaptation to the book. So
good.
We love that.
Yes, we do.
Okay, but anyway, agree on the Timothée Chalamet, disagree on the Harry Styles.
I get it.
Okay.
I know a lot of people will disagree, and I'm taking the heat.
Okay, I'll give you the heat.
Just don't cancel me.
Can we just talk about something? And I hope I'm not offending any of our listeners by this. And I hope, okay, these are hot takes. We have to be comfortable with them.
You keep saying that. Stand behind them, Rach.
People that look for childcare on Facebook concern me.
Oof.
People that are like looking for someone to watch baby Amelia on this day from this time. I'm like,
you are going to ask the Facebook,
the masses?
The meta?
Yeah, you're going to ask Meta?
Are you going to ask Meta?
I heard briefly about this from Josh. We're not even going on that.
I don't know either, but I just know that we're moving towards it.
What do you mean? Like, so you're telling me that if like Janice from 10th grade science was like, hey, I'm free.
How old
you would
are these?
trust your 2-year-old with her? Like, certainly there's a Facebook group for this.
It's like an ad. It's an ad.
It's
like on Marketplace, selling a kid's time.
Looking for someone to pick up
a shift here.
Jana from soccer practice. You trust somebody on Facebook with your kid?
I have not seen this. So maybe this might be some Kent original.
Like,
stuff.
I think if you're looking for Facebook, like, hey, who are your favorite babysitters? Blah, blah, blah,
yeah.
As a general, like, looking. But, like, if you've got an exact time and location and you're approaching the masses for childcare,
you're asking
it's
for
a red
sexual
flag
abuse.
For me. That is extreme. But
what if someone comes around like out here like, hey, these are my credentials, and he is some sex offender,
or she.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to go
or
straight.
Them.
Or them.
Yeah, I don't think it is appropriate to look for childcare on your Facebook wall. It doesn't sit right with me.
I have yet to see that, and when I do, I'm backing you on this. This is not the best way.
I'll send you screenshots because they come up on my page at least a few times a week.
Like of people you know?
Like loose people.
Loose.
Yeah.
I
think it's weird. I think it's weird for me.
It's definitely fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's a hard no. I'm going to pass on anyone.
There are Facebook groups for that. Join your local county's babysitter group. They exist. Okay.
Current event. I'm real firing off.
Fire.
Current event is that okay, this is fucked up. So the whale that played Willy and Free Willy was released into the wild. And I just want to take
a whale that has been in captivity since the early 90s.
Right. So I need to do further research, and I need to know that have we adapted him, and then like it was a process. Like it's never just like you're free. It's like it's a process where they watch it into the wild, they bring it back, and they kind of transition into that. Usually from what I know of that.
Usually if whales have been in captivity for that long.
But can we talk about, yes, we'll get into that because I should do further research on how this was done because I don't know. But my biggest issue is that we made an entire movie about freeing Willy and made a movie about it, about a whale in captivity. And we freed him and then said, just kidding. This was a really beautiful moment. You're not free. How fucked up is Free Willy? The movie.
Do you think I've
but it's
Free
one of
Willy
my
as someone who's afraid of whales?
Do you think I've studied it endlessly because it was the only whale content I could get as a kid before YouTube was around? Yes. It was all I watched. But then I'm realizing, what the fuck was I watching? Like this beautiful moment. He puts his hand up. Willy jumps over. He's free. In actuality, in real life, they were like, beautiful scene, guys. Beautiful scene. All right, get the whale back here. What? They were
How
like,
do you think there was some sort
did
of
they feel
underwater system?
There was a net. There was a net. Did they feel okay making that scene of like, this is so beautiful. We have let
I do
Willy
wonder
free.
a lot about like the SeaWorld world. Like I'm sorry. What? Like, I'm sorry. Not all these animals were just like abandoned pups, right?
No, they were created for SeaWorld, most of them.
Yeah.
They would reproduce with like two, you know, they would like be like behaviors captivity. And
yeah, no, it's weird.
The whole telecom situation and Dawn Blanchard and all of that.
Jess has done her research. She's saying names.
Oh yeah, Telecom is the whale that killed.
My mom is the
SeaWorld trainer.
Oh yeah. My mom loved SeaWorld. Like, there was a SeaWorld, I think, in Aurora, right? Like, that area.
It was close by, yes.
Yeah.
My mom knew, I had a friend who worked there, and that's how.
In Ohio. And so, like, I remember, like, we went growing up, and my mom was obsessed with SeaWorld. And a couple months ago, we were talking, and she's just like, I'm just so ashamed. I can't even think about SeaWorld anymore.
It's a fucked up feeling.
Because she loved it.
So did I.
She was a full
my whole family did.
Full on invested.
How would we know, you know, like that stuff was going on, or that like we weren't thinking bigger picture?
No, we were not. It was just like,
but it was also, it's also under our impression that these whales could not live in their natural habitat, which is why we're doing our best. We're doing research. And
no, but I still think even zoos, all of it weirds me out.
Me too. Ever since Blackfish shit Joe always says that too. He's like, those animals look at us like especially gorillas. He's like, they just, any primates, just like, you fucking know. Like, you're seeing me seeing you, and this is a weird feeling I have. I was like, you be speaking to animals for real in there. He is. He's like, no, just like, we had a moment. I'm like, what do you mean, Joe? Relax on that.
I know. It's
a weird.
Like, what? Were humans just like, do we get just more humane as time has gone on? Like, why did we ever think like, you know what, we're gonna take a wild fucking animal out of its habitat, out of everything it should know, and we're gonna
their argument
have
is
it in a cage.
Most of them cannot sustain in a natural habitat, which is why they're here, and it is a sad life, but it's at least better than them dying immediately.
But the ones that have been bred in captivity, all of that, it's like,
well, then you fucked them.
Need to do that.
Well, animal rights. This pimple on my lip has got me down bad.
Down bad? What pimple?
Okay. Have you ever, no, Rachel, couldn't be you, experienced a lip pimple, a limple, if you will? You can't really see it because it's hidden, and it will cast as a shadow.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, nothing worse than a limple, because if you pop it, it just makes your lips swell. It's just bad, man.
Lip filler.
I know, I guess, but I need it on both sides to equal it out. I went to the dermatologist, I guess, in my being off birth control journey, which I'm finding to.
How's that going?
A few people asked me or messaged me and asked me about different things about being off birth control, or what cup am I using and other stuff. And I was like, cool, I'd love to talk about that. But I did go to the dermatologist for my hormonal acne, because you will find that coming off birth control, especially if you've been on it. I thought that my acne was due to my adolescence growing up, you know. So if I was on and off birth control, I was like, cool, here I am 30 years old and I'm off birth control and my acne comes back. And so I went to the dermatologist and they put me on it's called spirulonolactate. I don't know.
Lactate?
Lactone? Something. So it's to help with hormonal acne. So that is something you can do.
Okay.
But is it taking care of my limple? No. Is it doing its job? No. It's 6 to 8 weeks, I guess, for you to see results.
I didn't know you were struggling with that.
Oh yeah. It's it just was like at one point like not manageable. And I was like, okay, this is like not fucking cool. And if there's anything that I can do, I will. And my dermatologist was like, okay, here's your options. You can go back on birth control. Is that an option? And I was like, I've gotten this far. I'm like, I don't think that would be helpful, or, you know, kind of counterintuitive. So counterproductive. So here I am. Something you can do though. So maybe in 6 to 8 weeks, I'll report back and let you know. Right. Because that is something if you want to stop birth control or that's holding you back, like, what about my acne? What about my PMS? There's stuff to help with that.
How have you felt otherwise?
Good. I honestly should report back as well in 6 to 8 weeks and let you know because I get pretty bad seasonal depression. So
this will be interesting.
Yeah. So my mood, we could have, chalked it up with the birth control. Mm-hmm. And I would like to know like what a winter looks like off of it. And if I'm able to like manage, some moodiness better being off of it. So we'll report back then as well.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
On my seat about it.
Good.
On my seat, not on my seat.
On your seat.
I'm on my seat about it.
But if you got a limple, I'm here with you. The struggle is real.
OMG. Okay, is it your turn or my turn?
I'm done. That's all I got. I feel like, I don't know. That one, that's all I am allowed, probably. Yeah. I've probably upset enough people.
I think you're fine. But, okay, my last one, I just wrote down big bridal parties, ...
I can't agree. But remember we've talked about big bridal parties a lot. And we say
why? I genuinely here's also if you wouldn't elope and invite just one of those people to come witness it, then they should not be there. Quit with this rule of 3 thing. Can't invite one without the... If you wouldn't fucking want them to be the only person at your wedding, why the fuck do you want them to buy a dress, go to your bachelorette party, be a part of your bridal shower? Like,
also the bachelorette party, people can be separate.
Right. Like,
that happens a lot.
I've been in very few weddings, but I've been to bachelorette parties. This is what I feel that happens. People are doing it out of fear. People are asking people to be in their bridal parties because they're scared if they don't. They don't want the drama if they don't invite. They don't want that kind of... And I'm like, why the fuck are... Like, it's also just like, it comes down to people pleasing. And I think for me, people pleasers, and this is a hot take, people pleasers are the people I have the least amount of respect for in this world. And it's hard.
Are you speaking straight to me?
Only when you're people pleasing. But I just really struggle with watching people degrade themselves in the name of other people's pride. It's like, please just have enough self-respect.
You not having like sympathy for their lack of or their insecurities, because I think it comes from insecurity. Not speaking for myself, but I do feel like people who are people pleasers have a lot of insecurities for other, and I don't know. I have to do some deep dives.
Maybe there's a good article we can read on people pleasing and what its deal is, but like,
but I understand as someone who wants to stick up for other people, I get that. And you're like, you don't need to please these other people on your day, because I guess I'm seeing it from like 2 different perspectives, from being a people pleaser and then also being a wedding photographer / coordinator / we need to get this shit done.
Yeah.
Like I can see both sides and being like, we have no time for other people. We have no time to give fucks about this. This is your day. Fuck what these people think. Let's keep going, because I can do that. You know what I mean? And then like, I don't know. There's also
it's just like brides that choose dresses based on what their moms want. It's like, that is so toxic and so obviously toxic and weird that it's like, let's unpack that, please.
Right. And I think like, unpacking that is where the issues lie. Yeah. In the people pleasing.
Yeah.
And
I think I personally, it's not that I want to make other people impressed. Like, I want people to be impressed with me.
Right.
So like, I understand that aspect of it, but like people pleasing in general, I feel like you're just enabling people's most toxic aspects of their personality and calling it love. And I'm just like, no.
Yeah, I guess there is a difference between people pleasing and then wanting people to like what you're doing, impress, to
if you're people pleasing, you're catering. You're catering to people's expectations constantly, and you don't want to create any conflict, even if it's not what you want.
Also, for me,
it's a sacrifice. If you're people pleasing at the core of it, you are sacrificing what you want in the name of making someone else.
My people pleasing is made up. It's a made up expectation of what I think people think or want of me. Like, it's not someone saying this like, this is what I, want to do, or this is what I want from you. Like, they're not saying that to me. It's like, me, please. I don't know. There's levels to that shit, like,
there are. Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. I think that's a deep dive we probably should go into.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a reason why people that say they're people pleasers say it with like a sadness in their voice. They're like, I'm a people pleaser. And it's like, they know that it's inhibited their lives in a lot of ways. And there's a place for compromise. There's a place for sacrifice, but it's like, I feel like a blanket statement, if you are a people pleaser, like, go to therapy police, bringing it out. Like,
but like, think about the spectrum of people pleasing, high insecurity, doing what other people want, and then no fucks given.
Yeah.
And where people lie on this spectrum, because like, could you want to be a no fucks given, or you want to ride right in the middle where you still care about other people's feelings, but also do what the fuck you want,
Right.
It's an interesting spectrum.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I don't know. I get it, but I don't have I don't have any patience for it. I understand.
That's clear.
But I have no patience. So
I think from like a photographer standpoint, or watching it unfold in interpersonal relationships on a wedding day, we are shown a lot.
Oh yeah, watching.
We're open into your entire world of interpersonal relationships and conflicts within those very quickly.
And watching you disassociate your entire day because you're around 20 people that you don't even really like.
It's hard for us to watch.
Hard to watch.
But it's also something, I can speak for me personally, is like, I'm going to try to.
That was inevitable.
And down goes Frasier. We lost the beer.
Lost the beer.
Where is that? Is that no? We will try to like obviously keep you present.
Yeah.
Undisassociate. Start to associate that this is your fucking wedding day. We're doing what you want to do, giving you autonomy on your day.
Yeah.
Because fuck everybody else.
Truly. And that's really what I've tried to gain understanding. I've tried to like give people grace and like, this is just where they're at. But I just feel like I'm such an asshole. If we're adults, act like it. Have an opinion, take a stance, be strong. Like, I feel like there's a misconception about me that it's like I enjoy conflict. I don't enjoy conflict. I do at times avoid conflict, or like a lot of the times I ask myself, is it worth my energy? Having this conversation, is it worth my energy? Is it worth caring about? Whether that's like clients not tagging me in an image, or, a parent overstepping boundaries in my life, right? It's like, is it worth my time?
Right.
And I think a lot of the time when people are raised, especially with narcissistic parents, it's save your energy. Don't. But then it comes into this like enabling people to step all over you, to think that they have this control over your life.
Interesting, because Joe talks a lot about calling people out when they're wrong. And good example, we saw someone drive up to, we're basically like recycling like book drop-offs, and maybe they thought it was a dumpster, and once they found out it wasn't a dumpster, we literally watched this person litter everywhere. They took all this stuff out of their car and dropped it on the floor in a parking lot.
Yeah.
It was really hard to fucking watch. Well, I didn't see this at first, and Joe immediately goes out the car. He's about to confront this woman. That's fucked up. That's a hard no. You have to call people out when they're wrong. And being a prosecutor, I get where that comes from. I get where we need to stop it at the core. We need to make people better.
Yeah. Hey, drive it up the road. There's something at a church down the road. Don't leave it
Joe,
here.
And I'm immediately like, absolutely not. Do not go out there. And I'm like, no, you know. And Joe's like, I'm not gonna yell at this woman. Like, I'm not gonna get in a fight. Like, obviously, I am not going to create conflict like that. But it is this stop it at its core, call them out, stop the enabling of what they're gonna do further. They're just gonna continue to litter, blah, blah, blah. So Joe goes over there in his Batman costume because he was dressed up for Halloween with the mask and the cape. With the cape, it was killing me. He picked up all of her trash and just threw it out at the trash can, which was like, I don't know, 20 steps. She was pulling away. So I don't know if she stopped to look or just peeled off and was like, that was embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't know what would have happened if she didn't pull away and he got to her sooner. But he will do that a lot. And I am like, immediately, his immediate reaction is to do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm so opposite that I don't actually think about like, you know, because I think a lot of people are like, they are who they are, you know, like if it affects me personally and then I'm offended, I will talk to them calmly. Maybe if I've talked to Yesenia enough and we've come up with a actual scripted conversation. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. Cause like Joe's the same way. He's like immediate to stopping this behavior or stop from enabling them from doing this to more people, you know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting. But yeah, I guess my whole point was just the people pleasers and just down with people pleasers. Not really. I know that's something that people really struggle with. And I even have my bouts of it with certain people. I think sometimes people struggle with certain people in their lives. Like maybe they're good at holding boundaries with the general public or people at work.
Yeah. But that's what I mean of this.
It with their mom or their sister or their brother, you know? Like,
I can relate to that because I feel like it is a spectrum. And I feel like I see both sides, and being the photographer or being in someone else's life and being like, that's fucked up. Don't see that how I could be like that with my own family members. But I'm like, that's got to stop immediately because especially on your wedding day.
Immediate no.
I see what I needed to see. I see what I needed to see. And immediately no.
Yeah.
But good. All we want is just the best for y'all.
We do.
That's all.
Episode 1.
Woo!
Got real at the end. Didn't mean to.
Always. But always, I feel like that was a good conversation though about people pleasing and the spectrum of what it is. You really nailed it about having people pleasing tendencies with different people in your life, because I can tell you people I give zero fucks about, or if I like kind of come to realization about our friendship, relationship, whatever, I can be like, okay, these are my boundaries.
Right.
And that's with, you know, a lot of 2021 year of growth and some therapy. But, you know, like, but there are some people that I really just want to be really fucking proud of me, and there's a lot of stuff I'll do. So I'm sorry I took it to heart about people pleasing, because I have some tendencies. So I just want to stick up for some people who may be struggling. I know.
But maybe this is your official invitation to be as direct and honest and real with me as possible.
Yeah. You don't think I am?
No, I do.
Yeah.
Except for when I call you and you're like, you cold call. Cold call?
You cold call. She cold. I'm a fucking Virgo. You don't cold call us. We don't talk on the phone.
But I do, because I'm not going to text and drive. And I'm.
But I did. But I did pick up.
I know. Proud of you.
Year of growth. That's growth.
That's growth.
But I also know. I mean, I'll fucking pick up a phone call. But I mean, if you're like talking about like we're small talking it, we would Marco Polo. So I knew there was a question that needed to be answered that we could kind of just discuss and hang up. And that's
Keep it brief. Keep it
brief with me on the phone. People know that. If you know, you know. And also, if you're one of those, text us, okay? Just as easy. Unless you're driving. Be safe. Okay.
Well, guys, we fucking love you. We're back.
It's season 2.
Yeah.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
For better and worse is back.
Back.
Tell a friend.
Yeah.
And give us your feedback. You know we fucking love it.
And you know we will never get better at outros.
And that's facts.
That's just on God.
And that's on God. We love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See you next week.
See you next week.